Hi, my name is Duke Williams, and I play Derek in the upcoming film Derek is Funny, and you're watching Envert TV.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Flisadam Pointer, the founder and editor-in-chief of EnvertEntertainment.com, your #1 home for indie entertainment. And joining me, we have Duke Williams, the star of Derek is Funny. We're going to sit down and talk about his role in this film and much more. Stay tuned. This is Envert TV.
What do we think about tonight's show?
I've been working on some one-liners. We're not doing it.
I mean, they bone me on because, my stuff is edgy. But none of my stuff gets greenlit.
None of my jokes are hidden for you, huh?
It's the Johnny Camp show, right? We write to support his style and his voice.
But I want to do my stuff, my comedy, man.
Hey, what's up everyone? It's Flisadam Pointer, the founder and editor-in-chief of EnvertEntertainment.com, your #1 home for indie entertainment. Joining me, I have Duke Williams, the star of indie comedy Derek is Funny, soon to come. Derek, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's talk about, before we talk about the film itself, let's talk about you. I know you have a background in not only Broadway productions, but a lot of other independent films. So how did you get into acting overall?
Well, I started getting into film, have an interest in film like towards the end of my senior year of high school. And I wanted to be a producer at first, but long story short, I saw Pulp Fiction and I thought Sam Jackson's performance was great. So I said, let me give this a try. So I took an acting class in college, and then I auditioned for a play that summer. And I said, if I like the class, if I get a role or something, then I think I'm gonna really consider doing this as a career. And sure enough, I loved the class. And my first play audition for a play, I got it. So I said, this is something that I really would want to do.
That's odd that you say that you didn't necessarily go into it wanting to do it, just kind of stumbled across.
Yeah.
So when you introduced the idea of actually being an actor to your friends and family, what was their initial reaction?
Well, my friends, they were kind of surprised, but they were like, oh wow, it's something that you kind of wanted to do since high school, so go for it. And I was always a shy, kind of quiet kid, growing up. Yeah, I was. So it came as a shock to my mom, especially, and my family. Like, wow, this is something I would have never guessed you wanted to be an actor out of all things. But once I said that I wanted to do it and I was going after it 100%, they've been nothing but supportive the whole way. So
let's talk about acting in general. It's a very hard industry to break in, especially for minority roles. So what is one of your things that push you forward when actually pursuing it? Because New York City, the city that never sleeps, sometimes you get a call back, sometimes you don't. How do you manage that?
Well, I deal with that by I say, I have until I leave the building to forget about it, because I've done the audition, it's out of my hands, I can't control what the casting director or whoever is there casting me. So I ponder on it. Oh, I should have done this. Maybe I should have done this. Oh, that was too much, until I get down to the elevator. And then once I leave the building, I just try to leave it, in the building. But I think it's really a good time actually to be a black actor or a minority actor with Black Panther and a lot of, the Academy and other, streaming services or whatever, trying to get more people, more diversity in it. So I'm looking forward to it. It's really exciting journey.
So let's talk about the audition process for Derek is Funny, the film that you're featured in, and you're the lead character of Derek himself. Yeah. So walk me through that day. What was it like?
I walk in and there's Reed, the producer, and they made me read I think a monologue first.
What monologue? Can you remember?
I think I did my monologue first.
Wait, we have to say. Okay. What was your monologue?
My monologue was, I believe, Corey from, Boy Willie from Piano Lesson by August Wilson.
No.
Yeah, that was my monologue.
Can you do it now?
No, not now. I can't do it.
I can't put you on the spot like that.
No, this is an interview. But now you can go on www.dukewilliams.me for that monologue if you want.
That's a great way to plug.
Yeah.
Great way to plug.
But yeah, I walk in, do the monologue. They gave me some sides. I read it, and then I did. There's this big monologue that I have in the film, and they gave me that to do. They asked me a few questions about, what do you think, what makes a great comedian? What does comedy mean to you, and things of that nature. And I guess I did a pretty good job. I'm here now. So
you're here now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Derek itself. Derek is a character that's relatable. right? Going into it, you know, for people that aren't familiar with independent films, they may not want to check out a film that they aren't familiar with, or if they're not interested in comedy, that may be a deterrent. But Derek himself is, you can see yourself in him. He's not just a comedian. He's not just a writer, as we'll get into in a bit. But he's your friend. He's your neighbor. You know him. He's yourself. A part of you identifies with Derek in some way. So what was it about Derek that made you say, hey, this is a role that I'm interested in pursuing?
I know, like, when I first started, you know, acting, I know my family said, you know, don't sell out, you know, don't do anything that you don't want to do or whatever. And I think that's for anybody, that, you know, you should obviously do what you love, but, you know, you should always keep your sanity, you know. And I think anybody can relate to this story and to Derek in the sense that, you know, you never give up. You always stay on what you believe is best for you. And eventually, you know, obviously there's, you know, turbulence on the way, but eventually if you continue to do what you do and, you know, stick to your guns, you'll turn out okay.
So as you read through the script and got to know Derek a little more, what was it about some of the struggles that he was going through? Because Derek is a very complicated character. He's not just fighting not only for his career, but he's fighting for his friendships, and he's fighting for his romantic relationship with his significant other. So what was it about these that you were able to pull so much personality or personal emotion into this action?
Well, I've actually experienced, like, everything that Derek goes through, I've experienced in some shape or form, whether it, you know, comedy, with acting. I have a girlfriend, so Derek has a girlfriend. I have a brother, Derek has a brother. So there was a lot of, you know, parallels. So I tried to draw, you know, from my experiences, from my relationship with my brother, with my girlfriend, and tried to feed in, you know, his journey with comedy, with acting. So, you know, and that's part of being an actor, kind of drawing from your personal life and kind of molding it into the script.
So Derek went through multiple transitions, right? When we're introduced to him initially, the film opens with a parallel universe in a sense. He's looking at the television where he's watching the Johnny Cale show, right? The lady show, excuse me, and he sees where he can be, right? And then he turns on his phone and he sees his brother on YouTube making skits, and that's where he can currently be, right? That's what the people around him are doing. So that was a sort of another conflict. It's like, are you doing enough? Am I not doing enough? So what about that particular duality do you think that the viewers are going to get the most out of?
Well, I think the viewers will get, they can see themselves as Derek, in the sense that, you know, sometimes we do question ourselves. Why are we doing this? Maybe this isn't, you know, right. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way, and we go on another path, and then we don't like that path, and we, you know, stick to, you know, we go on, you know, tangents or whatever. So I think that, you know, seeing, you know, the Johnny Cale show and his brother showed, I think, you know, you can be really good at it, you can be really bad. It really depends on. You know,
you classify his brother as really bad?
No, he's like, actually, no, he's not bad in that sense, but, like, you know, you can take it to the mainstream level, or you can be, you know, a nobody pretty much, where, you know, not a lot of people are looking at you. But yeah, like I said, to always just, you know, stick to your guns, believe in yourself.
So, and then we entered Derek in the workplace, right? So we are introduced to the story that he wasn't always where he is currently. As a viewer, as we're watching, he wasn't a writer. He was actually doing stand-up before he actually landed this gig. And he's battling with himself. So am I good enough in the content you brought me in to produce versus dealing with corporate America and what's seen as acceptable?
Yeah.
So I know there had to be moments where you're like, okay, Derek, get it together, get in a check. You should be happy. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was saying. I was like, I understand it's not exactly where you want to be, but I mean, writing for the, you know, that's the equivalent to, like, I don't know, the Jimmy Fallon show or something. You know, as everybody watches that show. So I was like, wow. When I first read that, I was like, wow, like, he really, really must not like it, or he must, like, stand up a lot more to, you know, give up that, to not really be happy at the Johnny Cale show.
So one of the parts that maybe I stuck to as a viewer is Derek questions himself and he compares himself to his brother a lot. So he's like, oh my God, right now I'm going through so much, and my brother is getting this YouTube fame off of the amount of views that he's getting from his videos. But then the viewer finds out a secret, which I won't reveal here. But how do you, the film talks about being authentic. How do you personally remain authentic to yourself?
I personally, I kind of watch other people and, you know, I try to experience different things. And so I feel like when you experience different things, you talk to different people, you know, you try to, you know, understand something a lot more. You can kind of bring yourself into it and learn from it and grow as a person. You know, that's what I try to do. I think that's what Derek tries to do, try to pull from the, you know, world around him.
So could you identify some of the main areas where you kind of differ from Derek? You know, he goes through the thing at work, and then he goes through the thing with his friends where he feels like he's alone in a sense, where it's something like a quarter-life crisis, if you will.
Yeah. And
then he's going back and forth about his significant other. They've been together for so long. Yeah. It was like, which one stuck out the most for you? There's so many conflicts to choose from.
Yeah, I would say me and him differ, I would say, with the Johnny Cale show, in the sense that if I was brought in as a writer on a web series, yeah, I'm not an actor, but Jesus, I'm a writer on, you know, a top TV show, or even, you know, a producer or whatever. So I'm not saying that I would settle, but I would count my blessings. I'd be like, okay, this is not exactly where I want to be, but at least I'm not, you know, where I used to be, or even worse off. So yeah, that's probably where I differ from Derek, is that I'll see the good and kind of accept it, you know.
That's strange, you know, because some people would say, you know what, in the sense that we live now, you have the non-traditional workplace. We have a lot of people that are leaving gigs like that, where we're seen in the past as prominent, to do things of their own. You have people that are starting YouTube channels, obviously, and then you have people that are doing things with reality television more so. So it's interesting that you say that, especially as like a millennial now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was about to say. I think that's why millennials get so much flack, in the sense that I know with me and my friends and people I grew up around, you know, it's more about being happy and, you know, making sure you keep your sanity and not working, you know, 9 to 5 like you know, the generation before us, and are kind of, you know, miserable. I read a study and it said like most people are just completely unhappy at their job, and you know, that's one reason why I decided to go after acting, because like, I don't want to be working 9 to 5, be miserable. I want to do something that I like, even though I got to pay my dues for a while. You know, it'll be worth it in the end.
So let's talk about the relationship between you and your brother in the film. So how do you see that playing out more so?
First, let me say, I think it's all out of love. I don't think there's any malicious intent there.
Once the viewers see it, they
can make up their minds. But
the brotherly competition is certainly
it was. I like that. I like the brotherly competition, but it wasn't. You know, the one thing I like about Empire is that, even though they are competing against each other, when it comes to family and when it comes to them, you know, there's they protect each other at the end of the day. Even though they're going at each other's throats, they kind of look out for each other in a way. I think that's kind of what Derek and his brother go through, in the sense that they are competing in the same, you know, realm or whatever. And I think my brother, he may think that what he's doing is best for him, for me. Brotherly competition, but it's not like life or death, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, I know we don't want to give too much away, because we want people to tune in and watch it out. But can you talk a little bit about the underlying gender differeces? So we have Derek has been with his significant other for a decade nearly, and she is a breadwinner. Yeah. So reading that part, how did that internalize for you? Were you like, I don't know if I'm really ready to this? Like, is Derek technically a bum in that sense? Or is he's just gonna grind until he actually is able to
I think it's more so that I wouldn't call him a bum. Like, he's writing for the Johnny Cale show. Yeah. I don't think he's a bum in that sense. But I think he sees his girl, and I think that's kind of why he says, my girlfriend's in this corporate media. I kind of don't like that a little bit, so let me do my own thing. But I think what also gets kind of in his way, or kind of is in the back of his mind, is that his girlfriend has a career, has a lot of potential and a lot of, you know, and is kind of, it's more of a guarantee with her more so than Derek. And I think, you know, that says a lot about their relationship in the sense that she's set, Derek isn't. Sometimes the yin and yang, you know, come together and it works somehow.
So we touched on Derek's relationship with not only his significant other and his brother, but we didn't really talk about his friendships so much. His friends are polar opposites from him. They're really brash, and they're going to tell him exactly how they feel. So can you talk about the cast? How was it working with your cast?
Oh, it was fun. I know the actor that played my brother, I know we had a good time on set, but even my friends, it seemed like every 2 minutes we were laughing about something. So it was definitely a great environment to work in, and especially since it's a comedy, kind of dark comedy, you know, you need to keep the set a little light so, you know, you have room to create. And it was a pleasure working with everybody. It was really a pleasure.
Can you share some, like, was a prankster on set or anything like that?
I wouldn't say a prankster, but
so that means it was you then. If you don't believe that it was a prankster, that means it was you.
I would say there was a lot of inside jokes. There was a lot of like miscommunication in the sense that Reed would be like listening to me talking to somebody and like we can't communicate one another, and he'll just be like, "Really, you guys couldn't communicate that to each other?" And he'd have to step in. Like I said, a lot of inside jokes, but yeah, everybody was friendly. Everybody was great.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, the city where you taped in is not known for being friendly.
Yeah.
So how was it navigating actually filming in open spaces? Like you have the subway scenes and you have a lot of scenes where you're out at restaurants. How was that like? That's a whole other element to it.
Yeah, I remember the first time we went to the subway, for me it was nerve-wracking because I'm like, I've never done stand-up or anything like that.
Really?
And like I do, obviously I'm an actor, but like I'm the character and there's the fourth wall. So like even I can be performing with 1,000 people, I don't see them because I have too much going on stage. But when you're a stand-up comedian, everybody is on you. All the eyes are on you. And I just remember saying the joke and it just wasn't landing. Nobody was laughing. But you know,
the dad knock jokes was actually the first go around.
Yeah, it was kind of quiet. I didn't know how to present, but like I felt that as I got more comfortable in the subway or whatever, I think the jokes started to flow a little bit more naturally, and people were interested. People some people would gather around for a quick joke or two, and then kind of go about their day or whatever, but. We didn't really face any rude people, like you said, there are rude people in New York, but there are also a lot of nice people who really want to see what you're doing and support you. So that's always a good thing.
So how is it playing a comedian? So you're an actor by trade. Yeah. So how was it just to step in that in a sense? A lot of the more favorable roles or memorable roles is when you actually do something that you're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So how was that? Did you were able to write your own jokes? You're like testing now? Are you like at open mics and trying to test out your material?
I would have written my own jokes, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm like stand-up funny. I'm like more of a conversational funny.
So have you taken the next step to actually go into pursue some comic relief?
Oh no, absolutely not. No.
So is comedy not in your future?
No, it's not in my future. It would be if somebody would probably write the jokes for me. But I mean, stand-up is hard, man. You got to keep the audience attention for an hour. You by yourself just telling jokes. I think that's difficult. With acting, it may be hard to kind of create a character, but somebody's written it for you. You got a director kind of guiding you. You know what I'm saying? You can feel the energy of the crowd. So I'll stick to acting for now.
All right, so I just want to close it out with, if you can give the viewers anything, give us 3 words that you would describe Derek is Funny as, both as Derek the character and the film, and why they should see it.
Encouraging, passionate, and of course, funny. Everybody needs to see this movie, I feel, because you can relate to all the characters. You'll see your friend, you'll see your family member, you'll see your boss, at your job in this film. The characters are very intriguing, and they're just everyday normal people. So with that, everybody should go see Derek is Funny, coming to a streaming service near you, 2018. So
now that you finished rapping for Derek is Funny, what can fans expect next for you?
Well, right now I'm working on season 2 of a web series called Black Panties. It's on season 1 is on YouTube. Right now we're shooting season 2. Season 1 is on YouTube, and season 2 we're shooting in about 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. And about a few weeks ago, I wrapped filming up for The Dirty Kinds, which is executive produced by Michael Madsen. So yeah, be on the lookout for that too, as well.
And how can people contact you?
You can contact me through Instagram at the Duke Williams. My email, dukewilliams94@gmail.com, and my website, www.dukewilliams.me.
All right, thank you for joining me. And again, this is Duke Williams of the hit indie comedy Derek is Funny, coming soon to a streaming service near you.
What do we think about tonight's show?
I've been working on some one-liners.
We're not doing it.
I mean, they bone me on because, my stuff is edgy. But none of my stuff gets greenlit.
None of my jokes are hidden for you, huh?
It's the Johnny Cash show, right? We write to support his style and his voice.
But I want to do my stuff, my comedy, man.
Hey, how you fine people doing?
Anyway, I just got back from vacation in Jerusalem. Do you know where I can get stoned?
Look at what people have been saying about my clips, bro.
27-year-old Derek Pullman has definitely made a name for himself by doing stand-up on the subway all over the city.
Don't you know that there's some cities that don't even have subways? Like, they'll always go to piss.
There's these subway clips going around. Have you seen them?
He could get fired for this.
If I'm worth anything as a comedian, I gotta do it.